growing up, one of my mom's favorite things to make was lasagna. And I haven't made it because my husband doesn't really like it. But tonight, we're doing it. So I'm going to make a turkey sausage lasagna. The first thing we need to do is make the sauce. So I have a pot on the stove with the heat on medium, so it's heating up. I have 4 tablespoons of olive oil. And then I have 2 onions that I have obliterated. If you like onion pieces in your food, you can just chop them. My family doesn't, so I pureed them basically. And we are going to cook those until they are translucent in the olive oil. Excuse me, along with a tablespoon of minced garlic. And so we're just going to leave this. It should take about 5 minutes for it to cook. And then we'll come back. So our onions are nice and translucent along with our garlic. Now I'm going to add 2 pounds of Italian style turkey sausage. And I'm going to break it up with my wooden spoon. And then we're going to let this cook until we don't see any more pink. It should take about 5 or 10 minutes. So our ground turkey is no longer pink, and it's cooked all the way through. And just so you know, this is double the recipe. Usually when my mother used to make lasagna, we'd always make 2. We'd make 1 to eat and 1 to put in the freezer for later, because it's a lot of work. So now I'm going to add 2 28-ounce cans of crushed tomatoes. And 1 12-ounce can of tomato paste. There we go. I'm going to stir this together. Then I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of chopped fresh parsley and a cup of fresh basil. So here's my basil. And my fresh parsley. And a teaspoon of pepper. You can add salt. We just don't eat a lot of salt in our food, so I don't add it if I don't need it. So we are going to let this simmer for about 15 minutes. I'm going to take the temperature from medium to medium low, which is about a 2 on my 7-point scale, or 9-point scale, I'm sorry. And then we're going to leave it for about 15 minutes and then we'll be back. So our sauce is finished cooking. Now we're going to head over to the table, make our cheese mixture, and then layer our lasagna. In the meantime, I have preheated my oven to 400 degrees. All right, so for our cheese filling mixture, I have 30 ounces of ricotta cheese. I'm going to add 8 ounces of crumbled goat cheese, because you can never have too much cheese in our house. Stir that together. And then I have 2 cups of grated Parmesan cheese. Add that. All right, we're going to add 2 eggs, another 1/4 cup of freshly chopped parsley, mix that up really well. Then I have a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 3/4 teaspoon of pepper. right, now we're ready to assemble. I have my 2 pans. Let's get this together. So we're gonna do a couple of spoonfuls of the sauce in the bottom. And I bought oven ready lasagna noodles instead of the ones I have to boil first, because I just don't like that step. I really don't like touching hot pasta because I tend to burn myself. And I don't need any help injuring myself in the kitchen, as my husband will tell you. All right. So we just need enough of the sauce to cover the bottom of your pan. And I use 9x13s. There we go. So I got, as I said, oven ready lasagna noodles. And the reason I'm putting gloves on is because I have to touch buffalo mozzarella or fresh mozzarella, and it's slimy and I have a texture issue. Not because it's dirty, just I don't like the way it feels in my hands. All right, so I have 8 ounces of lasagna noodles. And I'm going to lay them this way. And I have 2 packages, so so it's 2 8-ounce packages for 2 lasagnas. Only 1 8-ounce package if you're only going to make 1. There we go. And then we're going to add, the cheese. Your ricotta filling. I'm going to take my offset spatula just to kind of smooth it out and make sure it gets to all of the noodles. And then I'm going to take my fresh mozzarella and I'm just going to layer it in like this. So you need 2 pounds of the fresh mozzarella for 2 lasagnas, or only 1 pound if you're only making 1. Now we're going to do another layer of sauce. I'm going to make a big mess and splatter sauce all over me because it's fun. And apparently all over the table. All right. More noodles. More cheese. Now with this layer, I'm just going to add more sauce, more noodles, and then more cheese. And we're going to top it with our last of the fresh mozzarella. So I'm going to finish off one and then we'll go to the other one. Oops, you know what? Excuse me while I slide the noodles in, because we're going to be too tall to get any more in there if I don't. There we go. So I've got one. Let's put, I have some grated Parmesan cheese that we're gonna sprinkle over the top. It's about 2 cups, so I'm gonna use 1 cup for each lasagna pan. And then I'm gonna take my fresh mozzarella and put it on top. And just like that. We're gonna put this in a 400-degree oven and cook it uncovered for about 30 minutes. So 30 minutes later, our lasagna is out of the oven. We have to let it sit for about 15 minutes just to let everything settle before we cut into it, but then we'll be ready to eat.